Good, it's your boy OT. I'm over here shopping with my dogs, Holloman, one of the hottest brands coming up out the city of Philly. Everywhere is comfortable, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm rocking this color to represent, you know what I'm saying, upcoming project, Pale Horse. You know what I'm saying? So watch out for that too. See what it is, your boy OT the Real, rocking one of the hottest up and coming brands there is, Holloman, Pale Horse coming soon. Let's go.
So, just based off of what we have, you know, what we spoke about in regards to Tank Davis. Now, with Tank, would you agree that he's the face of boxing right now, or would you think it would be Canelo?
Well, I mean, both of those guys, I would say, is the face of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because both of them are from two different countries.
Correct.
So it's okay for us to have two faces in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Tank Davis is the face of boxing. The American fan base love him. Fans all around the world love Tank Davis. You can put Tank Davis anywhere,
mm-hmm.
and he's going to sell out. We've seen it happen. Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, Brooklyn, New York, here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Down south in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
You put Tank Davis anywhere, he's going to sell out. He's the face of boxing. You put Canelo Alvarez anywhere, well, particularly on the West Coast.
Yeah.
You put him in Vegas and Texas, we know what's going to happen.
Correct.
But we haven't seen Canelo
on the East Coast.
I haven't. Put him in Baltimore. Let's see what he can do. Put Canelo at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Let's see what he can do. So both of them are the face of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to choose just one,
yeah,
I'm going with Tank Davis.
Okay.
He's the face of boxing. And you got to put it in this perspective, too. Tank Davis, he don't need the belts.
Correct.
His name carries him. Canelo really don't need the belt at this phase in his career, but he has them, so that helps him.
Correct.
Whereas though with Tank, he don't need them.
Mm.
So,
you know, just to continue on, you know, we do, you know, we have another fighter who was the co-main event with Tank, and it was David Benavidez, and we speak about Canelo. Do you think we'll ever see that fight happening at some point?
I think that probably would be good for Canelo to fight Benavidez in his last and final fight.
Mm.
I do not believe that Canelo is afraid of David Benavidez.
Mm-hmm.
I just believe it's still a business. Right now, David Benavidez don't have the marketability that appeals to Canelo, in his opinion, in his eyes. I believe he does.
Yeah, because if you look at,
I believe he does, but I don't think Canelo believe he does.
He fought. Now you saying is Munguia a bigger star than David Benavidez?
In my opinion, no. I mean,
Is
of course not.
Charlo a bigger star than David Benavidez?
Money wise, yes.
Okay.
Only because Charlo is black or African American.
Mm-hmm. So even with
and
that,
he's a good seller.
You know, I don't think that Canelo, no doubt, though, I don't think Canelo's scared to fight anybody. I just think that Canelo is like he's probably just milking
Yeah.
that fight into to be something that's a crazy event. Because if you look at Canelo, you know, Floyd gave Canelo a shot when Canelo was young. People were saying that Floyd was scared to fight Canelo. Remember, they were saying he was scared to fight him, and then Floyd said he got to wait. Then Floyd gave him an opportunity, and he just beat him every round.
But remember what happened, though. Let's put this in business perspective, too. What happened was Canelo Alvarez was fighting on Floyd Mayweather's undercards first.
Correct.
To build him up to the satisfaction of marketability,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and credibility, too, to say, okay, yeah, he can fight, but he's still green. So how we're going to do it is let him go on the undercard of Floyd several times.
Yeah.
You know, several times. And then now let's put them together. We've seen this is a classic business strategy that we've been using in boxing for years. I'll give you one right here. When Jermaine Teller, he fought Corey Spinks.
Correct.
Right? On the undercard, Kelly Pavlik, he fought, I believe that was Edison Miranda.
Correct.
In that fight. And then the next fight, what happened? Kelly Pavlik fought Jermaine Teller. This is how the business of boxing works. Look at Benavidez. He fought an undercard of Tank Davis.
Mm-hmm.
This is after he headlined his own pay-per-view with Andre.
Yeah.
It's good business.
You're trying to build him, yeah.
Trying to build him up a little bit. But I also want to take it a step further. Nobody didn't hear this nowhere else but me on YouTube, or but from me on YouTube. Canelo Alvarez knows that David Benavidez has a man in his camp that most people are suspicious of. And I'm talking about Memo Heredia, former drug cheat, a man who's been in boxing and other sports, particularly track and field, back in Tim Montgomery's days, and Marion Jones. He was their first supplier before Victor Conti.
Really?
Most people won't say that, or even most people don't even know that. Yeah,
Wow.
he was their first dealer. So I'm just saying he's in David Benavidez's camp, and he's from Mexico, and so I would be surprised if Canelo Alvarez, wasn't suspicious of the fact that Memo Heredia has been in the camp of David Benavidez for a couple of fights, including the fight he fought with Caleb Plant, including the fight that he fought with Andre.
Wow.
And but I ain't speak on it with the Andre because Andre had Victor Conti in his camp. So let the best man win, with performance enhancements in their camps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that fight. What do you think I think what do you think Crawford's going to do with this fight? His next fight in August.
I think this fight doesn't go past 6 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy only has 11 professional fights.
Yeah.
Madrimov.
Yeah, correct.
Now, I know Eddie Hearn is running around, as he should, as a promoter, saying that the guy's going to knock Terrence Crawford out.
Yeah.
Now, I know that Eddie Hearn is a promoter, so he's supposed to say that. But I don't know if it was something in his drink one of the nights that he said that, because he keeps saying it.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe that he don't even believe that if he knows the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
But because it's a business, he's got to hype it up, because everybody knows that Terrence Crawford's not good with selling. So you got to hype it up to make people want to be appealed to go buy the fight. It's just business.
So speaking about Eddie Hearn just signed our Philly's own Jerron Boots Ennis.
Yeah.
And people are clamoring for that fight with Crawford at some point. Do we see that fight?
No.
We don't see that fight?
I know. Listen, people are going to stop calling my phone after this. That fight will never happen. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you why. Timing.
Yeah.
And I got much respect for Eddie Hearn, and I'm glad he signed Boots. I think this was a good opportunity for Boots. But I also have to keep it 100. You haven't found this nowhere else on YouTube, but we got it here. I believe Eddie Hearn signed Boots under the guise that he was going to fight Crawford. The reason why I say that, it goes back to timing. Because if you look, he signed Boots, and what happened a couple of weeks later, Eddie Hearn is sitting right next to Madrimov at a press conference to fight Terrence Crawford. How does this happen? If you signed Boots to help him get the fight at 147 with Crawford, then how in a couple of weeks he's moving up to fight a guy you promoting in Madrimov?
Do you think it's probably, like you said, like you mentioned, the politics as far, and also the financial, percentages as far as the money may not be there for a Crawford in the Boots. Do you think the money is there for that fight?
In Crawford's case, no, because he just fought Errol Spence Jr., right? I don't know how much he's getting paid against Madrimov. That's none of my business. But I'm just saying, Boots is still coming up.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's a great opportunity for him to be with Matchroom. All I'm saying is Terrence Crawford don't want to fight Boots, is where I'm getting at with this. He don't want to fight Boots. We all know he don't want to fight Boots. And if I was managing Terrence Crawford, I would recommend him as my client. Don't go in there with Boots. Boots is a young, hungry lion. Listen, man, Boots was born in the gym. When you have a fighter like that, these fighters are special, man. This is not no catching him slipping. Yeah. No disrespect to Errol, but this ain't that, as they say. The young people say, this ain't that. Yeah. This is Boots. You don't want to get in there with a guy who's young, who's strong, who can switch it just like you, who has skills, who's good on defense, who's good. He can improve on his defense. Boots can. But my point is, he has everything.
Yeah.
That's not a guy you want to lose to. Not him. And so I recommend, look, vacate the titles and let the young man Boots shine, because he's going to take over the whole division. You ain't got nothing to prove. But to hold on to the belts, moving up to 54, look, let them go. Let Boots take over 147, go up to 54, fight this guy Madrimov. If you want to fight Errol Spence in a rematch at 54, whatever. If people want to buy it, whatever. And if you're not fighting Boots at 54, which I recommend he don't fight him at all, then get out the game. It's over. You made enough.
Yeah.
Boots is still building his popularity.
Yeah.
He's still building up his portfolio as far as being marketable. So in Terrence Crawford's case, if he made a big bag with Spence, remember, just like the employee he worked at McDonald's and then they work at Walmart, they're not going to go back working for Burger King for less. Okay. And it's just business. It's not personal.
Correct.
So that's why I say I don't think Crawford's going to fight Boots.
Yeah. I mean, I think it probably will happen at some point, possibly when Crawford is, on his way out, and depending on where Boots is and what division it is, I would think Boots, he doesn't have that much longer to be at 147. I think he's going to probably move up at some point, but I think he's trying to capture all the titles.
Yes.
Now because when Greg Hackett was saying that Boots comes down, he melts down as far as weight, all the way down from like almost 200 pounds down to 147. Yeah. So at some point he's probably.
I can't see 200.
No, he said. To be honest, I think I'll double check it, but I think he said around 180, 185, 190. It wasn't 200, probably 180, 190. He was saying that he comes from that weight all the way down to 147. At some point, he's probably going to get more body mass and want to move up to 154.
Of course.
So with Boots, let's kind of speak about Boots a little bit. Boots is up and coming fighter at 147. He's arguably the best fighter, one of the best top 5 fighters, possibly the best fighter at 147. I don't see anyone in that division beating Boots.
Nobody can beat Boots at 147. Nobody.
What about 154? If he goes up there right now, I'm just saying, you say Boots jumped up there to fight, because that's where all the fights are really. But I think he wants to clear the division at 147. Do you think it's someone at 54?
Nobody at 54 that I see right now can beat Boots. Nobody.
Okay. Now, Boots has the fight here in the city, and like you said, those city fights can be a showcase fight, or it can be a trap sometimes for people who get overconfident, so forth and so on. I don't think that's the case with Boots. I think Boots is going to come out and perform, and going to stop this guy in this fight. After Boots wins this fight, God willing, what do you think should be next for him after this fight?
The next thing that should be him is what I think Eddie Hearn had in the back of his mind and still does the whole time, and that is that Boots will fight Conor Benn. I mean, I know the business of boxing. Okay, so I'm not saying that. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that Eddie Hearn don't genuinely believe that he has the resources or the connections to make a Terrence Crawford versus Boots fight. I believe he genuinely believes he has the connection, the resources to make it happen. But I also believe that Eddie Hearn knows himself that it's nearly impossible for it to happen if Terrence Crawford is moving to 54. In other words, Eddie Hearn been in this business long enough to know that once Terrence Crawford compete on August 3rd at 154, Terrence Crawford is not coming back down to 147 to fight Boots. Everybody in the business of boxing knows that. So I do believe there is one person at 147 that Eddie Hearn has in the back of his mind for Boots to fight. And that's the bottom line is, the writing is on the wall. Who else is there that it's an inside job. And when I say inside job, meaning promoters fight their fighters in-house.
Yeah.
It's not personal, it's just business. Eddie Hearn promotes Conor Benn. Conor Benn is making a resurgence after he, tested positive in the UK. He can't fight in the UK anymore, but the UK fans is going to come over to America and they're going to support Conor Benn, no matter who he fights. That's a good, big money fight for Boots. And I believe after Boots dominate David Evanesian, the next fight is going to be him and possibly Conor Benn. And that's Conor Benn. I believe that from the very beginning of him signing him. I just didn't put it out there, but for 147 pound titles.
And I agree. I think that that'll be a next fight for Boots, but I think that fight, is going to be more of a build up. But I think the turnout of that fight, I think Boots, I think he'll stop him maybe 3-4 rounds.
Conor Benn?
Yeah, I think Boots.
That's going to be Boots' biggest payday, by the way. I believe that.
UK, America is going to come together. It's going to be because they were at one point I think they were trying to make Conor Benn versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I think it was speculation. I don't know if it was true. How true?
Conor's he's a big guy though.
Yeah,
he's too big for Tank.
I think. But I think Boots is going to knock Conor Benn out as well. I think he'll stop him.
He'll stop him.
So in boxing, we have you have your household names and you have your up and coming guys. Who is it in the sport that you think is up and coming that is going to be the person that we're going to be speaking about in the next 3-4 years as possibly being the kings of certain divisions? Who do you think is going to be the up and coming guy that you see right now? You say, hey, this guy he has it to be a champion.
I see Keyshawn Davis.
Mm-hmm.
That kid, Shushu
Carrington, yeah.
I like that young man. I like him. He's special. He's going to be a world champion one day.
Yeah.
Keyshawn going to be a world champion one day, too.
What about the kid, Carmel Moulton?
Moulton, I like him, too. He's more greener than all the other two guys I mentioned. They got way more experience than him professionally, but he's younger than both of those guys.
Exactly.
So he has the potential, yes, to be a world champion.
Abdullah Mason,
I like him too.
He's coming up.
He good too.
Yeah,
I've been watching him for a while.
Yeah, he's going to be. I think he's going to be really, really good.
All four of them guys are going to be really good.
So these promoters now, when they're scouting their talent. I'm assuming a lot of these promoters are competing to land, the up and coming fighters because this is how boxing, this is how sports is in general. Yeah. That's why we had the draft and so forth and so on. When a promoter is scouting a fighter, what are they actually looking for in a fighter before they sign them? Is because you never really know what you have until you put them in the ring, or is it just that the promoters are just throwing as many lines out there as they can?
No,
and they'll figure out.
No, the first thing is always talent.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have skills. You have to have talent. And so what most promoters will do, or managers,
mm-hmm.
will go to the tournaments, national tournaments, because after the nationals, or after so many national tournaments that a fighter wins and they become champion once, twice, most of the time, they've already made their decision to go pro.
Mm-hmm.
And then the trainer will say, let's turn them. Or the manager slide up on him and try to turn him pro. Yeah. At that point, the promoter's watching. It's almost like in other sports, you're scouting the prospects as they're coming up in college and, the draft. This is how it is in boxing.
Yeah.
So we don't have a boxing draft,
mm-hmm.
but we do have the, USA Boxing, as our national tournaments. And these young people travel all around the world. And so when you see it, the promoters scout, managers will scout and say, all right. So it starts with talent first. Then after the talent is the money.
Yeah.
Can this young person sell? That's the key. How do we know that? Look at these amateur shows. Most of the people that are professional boxers, they were selling tickets in the amateur program. When they were competing amateurs, they were selling good. So it's not like they just have talent and that's it. Mm-hmm. If a promoter's going to put money out there and invest, remember we talked about this as businessmen.
Yeah.
When you invest, we're doing it with the intentions of gaining a return.
Yeah.
So we're not just putting money out there like we just going to put all this money out to see who we catch, because you don't know who you're going to catch until they become a world champion. That's when most of your profits are made.
Mm.
So that's too much risk, right?
Yeah.
So it got to start with the talent first, because the talent is going to bring the fans to you.
Yeah.
Then after that is different levels of marketability too. And so that's why I was talking about Shakur Stevenson, where he is, where Boots is. Hey, it's time to shake hands.
Yeah.
Kiss babies. This is what we're going to have to do, because you got the talent. We see that. you on level 1 and 2 with the marketability. We see that because you're gaining the exposure on a global platform like an ESPN, like a DAZN now. For Boots. Now it's that next level of superstardom. So that's important.
So speaking about marketability over skill, if you look at someone like Jake Paul, and he's coming into the boxing world and he's making bankroll. Yeah, is he good for boxing? Do you think?
Absolutely, because he's taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. Because there are professional boxers who don't take it seriously, and people still pay for them to fight. Yeah, people pay them to fight. And people pay to watch them, and they don't take it as seriously.
And he's getting a lot better. I mean,
he's taking it seriously. Yeah. He's growing. He's doing good.
He's like a person, and as you may have seen, the marketing was first.
Yes.
Before the skills, and now he's trying to bring the skills up to the actual marketing. And I see him actually fighting a real boxer at some point. I don't know who it's going to be, but I actually see him fighting a real boxer at some point.
Listen, man, he's good for boxing because there's really no bar of entry. I mean, if you go and look at a promoter, the promoter has to be licensed. Yes, the manager has to be licensed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's background checks. But, I mean, look at the trainers. Somebody's doing a neighborhood survey on what kind of trainer this person is before they become a trainer. Yeah. So it's the same thing with boxing. If a person wants to compete and they're taking it seriously and then they're developing and then they're improving, give them credit. Yeah, I like that. The fact that, matter of fact, Jake Paul, if you look where the camera's at, right there. Jake Paul, if you're listening, you might need somebody to, I don't know, whatever you need somebody to do. You might need somebody to, hand you a water bottle. Call me. Yeah. You got the people in your corner that know me. Give me a call, Jake. Listen, he pay how he weigh. Yeah. I know people that work with Jake Paul, and he treats all his staff. I don't need to work for you, Jake. That was a joke. But what I'm giving him credit. Yeah. He's not just acting like he want to box. He's treating his staff well. Everybody's taken care of. They take care of him. Mm-hmm. He's good for boxing. Yeah. Give him a shot. Mm. If we gave everybody else, look, this is how great the sport of boxing is. Look at Deontay Wilder. Now, he started late, but he deserved all the credit, man. He came in this sport late in his age as far as what we call old in boxing as an amateur, and he came in with the intentions of earning more money to pay for the medical expenses of his daughter. If that don't make you excited, I don't know what else is. Yeah. So what I'm saying is we gave Deontay Wilder